Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I'm Christian Stoynev. Got my man Bill Leary joining me today in person. We are back, and we are talking some basketball. We're going to talk about the NBA play-in tournament that's coming up. Very intriguing things going on there. The playoffs obviously follow after that. But before the end of that, people got to decide who's their regular season MVP, and they have to decide. Well, not really decide. The only two people that need to decide is Bradley Beal and Steph Curry at this point. Who's going to be the NBA scoring champion this season? So, where do you want to start, Bill?
Let's talk MVP.
Let's talk MVP. Yeah. All right. I wrote down some statistics for us.
Okay.
So, I wanted to talk about the 5 guys that I think should be up for consideration. I may be missing someone here. So, if you think of someone, let me know. Nikola Jokic is having a hell of a season. Yep. Joel Embiid. Julius Randle, because the Knicks have just overachieved. Yeah. I don't think anybody pictured them being a 4 seed in the East right now. If arenas were packed, they would be having home court, and it would be, the Garden would be popping. It would be awesome. Giannis, because nobody talks about him, but he's quietly having even a better season than he had last year when he won MVP. But he's not going to get it because he's gotten it 2 years in a row. Yep. And Chris Paul, because the Suns went from being close to last place last year to pretty much battling for the first seed in the West. So, just off of that, I'll read some numbers in a sec, but what's your gut favorite? Tell me.
Well, I mean, I don't know. How do I even say it?
Joker. You could go with
the Joker. I mean, obviously the clear front runner. Okay. But CP3's like what does most valuable mean? He's so valuable to that team. He's that piece that has made them go over the hump. Devin Booker hasn't made the playoffs ever. Yeah. And he's just pulled them together, and they're playing lights out for that team. That's what I wonder. Is it MVP, most valuable to the team? Joker might be most valuable in the league. He's just dominating across the board with a guy with no vertical. You know, So I don't know. And Embiid's a beast, but.
So if we're gonna start, we can work our way backwards here because we'll eliminate guys. So Giannis, I'm eliminating solely for the fact that people just won't give it to him. Because he's 1 or 2 years in a row.
MVP fatigue probably or something.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So Giannis out of this list to me is out. Yep. Now, Julius Randle, I also just numbers wise, he's averaging 23.9 points per game, 10.3 rebounds, and 5.9 assists. Solid. Yeah. But like I said, there's just if they're the 4 seed, it's kind of hard. The only time that I think a guy won MVP and wasn't a top 4 seed was Russell Westbrook when he was with the Thunder. Yeah. And he averaged the triple-double, which by now is a normal thing. Yeah. Joker's almost averaging that.
Right. He's right on the door.
Yeah, he's got 8.5 assists. So, Julius, I'm just going to also eliminate because I think the Knicks.
He's having an amazing season, but I don't know if he's MVP or even top 5 in the league right now. You know, he's just having a killer year for him. Right. You know? And the Knicks are overachieving. So
so the Knicks are 38-30. So also, it's not like they're, there's just a lot of things that they're good in many different aspects, but there's not one thing per se where his team or his stats are out of this world. So I'd eliminate him as well. Now you got Joker, Embiid, and CP3. Yeah. If Embiid had played the whole season, he would be probably my favorite. Yeah, because his team's got the better record. Than the Nuggets.
Right. How many games did he miss? He missed 15 or
right,
something?
But he's played only 49 games this season, where Joker has played every single game. He's played 68. So Joker's got 19 more games on Embiid, and to me, that's important. Yeah. So, and then it comes down to CP3, which his numbers, this is where you're saying, his numbers don't speak for that much, because he's averaging 16 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, and 8.9 assists. Yeah. But it's that valuable part.
Yeah. I mean, I think Joker will probably get it in the end of the day, but CP3 is so valuable to that team, and just bringing it together. Yeah, he's averaged more assists before, more points, but he's brought that young, talented team together.
Yeah, that leadership is something that cannot be taken for granted. And that's where, out of all these guys, if you're talking leadership statistic, if there was one, CP3 is without a doubt number one.
And you can clearly see the difference from last year to now with him.
Right.
So, but Joker is pretty dominant, and they're still doing well without Murray,
Exactly. So. And that's the thing, man. So Joker, I agree with you 100%. To me, my guy is Joker.
Yeah.
I think Nikola Jokic deserves MVP. He's
Yeah.
averaging 26.4, 10.8, 8.5 assists. As a big, this dude
That's
is
impossible. That's insane.
It's insane. And so there's no better passing big man right now than him.
Yeah.
And I mean, just compare that to Embiid, who sees double teams all the time.
Yeah.
And, he's at 2.9 assists.
Right.
So, I mean, a little European flavor there for Jokic. I think he's going to get the MVP.
I think he will.
And I wouldn't complain. Well deserved. I think he deserves it.
Yeah, he'll be like, the lowest draft pick to win MVP or something.
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that too.
Wasn't he in the second round or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the progress he's made from his rookie year is insane. So good for Jokic. All right, we'll leave that.
Yeah.
Now that we think, and that's our. I guess we concluded that.
I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just while we're on this, we're gonna talk about scoring title.
Ooh.
Because this is getting super exciting.
Yes.
So, at this point, I'm gonna play a clip a little bit here of Steph at shoot around when I was there because I did a halftime show there.
Heck yeah.
Like 10 days ago, and he's insane. So you guys are watching that clip right now. But Steph is averaging 31.9 points per game right now, and Bradley Beal's at 31.4. And
Jeez.
Steph is on another level. I mean, the shots he makes, he gets double teamed and he just backs up a little bit and takes the shot.
Yep.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I'm biasly rooting for him because I love this revenge season he's having.
Yes.
But also Bradley Beal, like I said, he's playing great with Russ. That team has kind of been on fire lately.
And the teams are both in the same spot. They're going to be in that play-in.
Yep.
They both have high-powered guys, him and Russ and Steph. And, I mean, it's exciting. And I want to see it come down to, the last game. Years ago, it was Shaq and David Robinson. Robinson, 71 the last game. Just to beat him by a hair. I wanted to kind of come down to that and be like, Steph had 103 points today just to beat him.
Well, it could happen.
Yeah.
Because this is, I wrote down their last game. So each team has 4 games remaining. Wow. So we're at the end of the season.
Crazy, yeah.
Bradley Beal has the Hawks, followed by the Hawks. So they play the Hawks on the back-to-back.
Hawks and Hawks.
Not the best defensive team, so I could see him putting up around his average or a little bit more.
Yep.
The Cavs, also not a great defensive team. And then ends with the Hornets. So
boy, he's got a shot there.
He's got a shot, is what I'm saying.
Yep.
And then Steph, though, he's got a little tougher time. He's got the Jazz.
Okay.
He's got the Suns.
Oh, boy.
And this is the game I'm circling. He's got the Pelicans. And the Pelicans are near the bottom in defense. Yeah. And I just think Steph, especially if Beal does well against the Hawks in those 2 games, and Steph struggles against the Jazz and the Suns a little bit, I think that Pelicans game, he's going to come out and just be like, I'm trying to put up 60 tonight.
Yeah. And,
then the last game is against the Grizzlies, who,
they're a good team, but
they got Dylan Brooks and John Morant to try to stop him. But it's going to come down to the wire. If I was a betting man, which I'm a $5 betting man.
This is true.
Who would you put your money on?
I would get a slight edge to Steph, just because even if he has great defense, that guy can get up shots on anybody. And Beal's more of a slasher, but he can still score. And Russ can just feed him and get his 28 assists if he wants. But I'm going to slight edge to Steph.
I'm with you.
Because he's on a roll. He's just not been on a mission since, the All-Star break and just dominating. And he wants to get in, and they'll get in. Because what are they, the 8th seed I'm seeing?
Yeah, they're the 8th seed. They'll get in.
And that's I'll let you lead the topics, but...
No, you're good.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah, they're 2.5 games up on the Spurs. They're pretty much in. They got 4 games up on the Pelicans with 4 games left. So if they win one, they're pretty much in.
Just love Steph, and I think he could just keep it going. He can get a shot up on anybody. So.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Steph is gonna get it, but I do think this will shift a little. I think Bradley's gonna get it either closer or take the lead.
Yeah. But
then those last 2 games, I just think that Steph will go.
Oh, this is exciting!
Off. Yeah. I'm telling you, that Pelicans game. Here, I might put $10 on the over or whatever stat is on Steph Curry for that game because I've seen them play and they don't play any defense. They're honestly, I don't know how they gotta be, if not the worst, one of the worst defensive teams in the league. So I cannot wait for that game because I think Steph could. He just scored 49 the other day in 3 quarters.
Right.
And So he's in.
Yeah, if he just stays in. I mean, now that they're going to the playoffs, they want to maybe limit minutes a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see him go for it.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he wants to. The other day when he had the 49, Bradley Beal had like 50 that day, and they asked him if he knew prior to the game that Bradley had 50, and he was like, "Of course."
Yeah, so, he's slick. He knows what's up.
And he put up 49 in 26 shots, so he only took 26 shots. Yeah. So he made 11 3-pointers. I think he only had like 6 of the 20 shots were not threes. He went 11 for 20.
Oh my gosh.
From 3.
Yeah.
So,
he's efficient and get it up with those threes. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. All right. Let's talk play in, and from there we'll evolve into the playoffs. Okay, because this is coming up. The play-in tournament is pretty much less than 10 days away. Yeah. I think it's next weekend or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
As of today, so we are recording this on Monday.
What is it?
The 10th?
Yep.
So the Lakers are the 7th seed in the West, and they're a game behind Portland. I hope it stays this way because I really want to see the Lakers in the play-in tournament. And they would play the Warriors, the 8th seed, in that 7-8 game. And really, everyone's just hoping that that's the game that Steph goes off. Because if he doesn't go off, the Lakers should just whoop them pretty badly and lock themselves into the 7th seed. So Lakers, Warriors, and then the 9-10 game would be the Grizzlies and the Spurs. That one, I would say the Grizzlies are the better team, but the Spurs, Pop has done this for so long that he might be able to coach them up in a way where he's...
For a one-game thing, yeah.
A one-game thing, pretty much. And then, Warriors, Spurs, or whatever, however that goes, Warriors, Grizzlies, assuming if the Warriors lose to the Lakers.
Right. So if the Lakers, Warriors, whoever loses plays the 9-10.
The winner of the Grizzlies, Spurs.
Okay, so Lakers or Warriors could lose one and win one and still get in. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so they have two games to win one and to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say is also it depends on who you want to match up with. And not that they would lose a game on purpose, but if say the Warriors, for example, if they end up playing the Suns, I think that's a worse matchup for them than playing, say, the Jazz. Because Chris Paul playing defense on Steph Curry
is tough.
It's tough. So I just think that if the Warriors happen to lose that 7-8 game and then they win the next game and get in as the 8th seed, it's not the worst.
Yeah, I would love to see the Lakers play the Suns in the first round.
Yeah.
That'd be fun because that young team is on fire. And if the Lakers are hurt or not quite back, that could be... Yeah. I think the Lakers still, if LeBron and AD can play, they'll win a 7-game series, especially against the Warriors. But the one game,
it's a one game
can happen.
Yeah. So I was kind of a hater on this in the beginning.
Me too. I was like, this is dumb. Why are they doing this?
I just the reason why I didn't like it at first is because it rewards mediocrity.
Yeah.
So if you're the 9th or 10th team, it's like you still might get a chance to get in. So, and in some sports, like in the NFL, though, I do think when they expanded the playoffs from 6 teams. Because remember before, the top 2 seeds would get the bye week in the first round. Yep. Now it's just the top seed. So I guess what? Now it's 5 teams get in or 7 teams essentially. Yeah. So when they did that, I wasn't opposed to it because still, 7 teams out of the 16 in the conference is still less than 50%. So I was like, all right, it's still tough you got to be in the top half of the teams to get in. But now the way the NBA set it up, 10 of the 16 in each conference.
And is that because they're only playing, 72 instead of 82 games?
Or 15, yeah.
I was like, last year we didn't have this, but now I'm kind of behind it because it's getting because I won't say, but I'm kind of a Mavericks fan, and they're up now, but now the Lakers have dropped, so it's kind of like, ooh, what's going to happen?
Right. So, it is intriguing. I do think, I think the idea was to just put it in here because of the short season and to try to make back some of the money that they've lost as well.
Oh, didn't think about that.
But when you think about it, and they do end up getting the money from it, because people are I'm gonna watch. We're all gonna watch. If this Lakers Warriors, we're watching.
Yeah,
it's a one game. Look, that's why the NFL playoffs, to me, there's nothing like it. Yeah. And that's why Game 7s are so big, because it's that one game elimination.
Yeah, one and done.
So, any one done situation, March Madness. That's why it's so popular.
Right.
So it'll get attraction. People will watch, and
Yeah.
it means not always the best team moves on, and that's why you watch.
Right.
So I do think that
if a matchup is off, a lower seed can take advantage.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. So I do think this will be here to stay. But like Kenny Smith brought this up on TNT the other day. He's not sure why the 7th seed should be playing. He was kind of saying the 8th seed maybe. So you let the 9th and the 10th team play each other, and then the winner plays the 8th seed.
That kind of makes sense too. But I kind of like this. You can still, if you're 7, you just have to win 1.
And a hidden thing that does end up working out with this too is I think it keeps some teams from tanking. Because if you right now are the Pelicans, and so the Pelicans are a game and a half behind the Spurs,
they can still go for it.
You could still go for it, essentially. And that is a good thing because I hate to see tanking. I'm not going to knock the intelligence behind it. I think it's a smart move if you are a GM and all that. So I'm not knocking the decision-making behind it, but I just hate to see it because sports is about competitiveness.
Yeah.
It's about trying to win. So
we've all probably been on bad teams where we still just give it our all. But to see him just kind of,
Yeah, so that's the West. So at this point, honestly speaking, I think it'll be the Lakers as the 7th seed.
Yeah.
And I do think it'll be the Warriors as the 8th seed. I think Steph will carry them through.
And I even think they'll stay the way it is, Grizz and then Spurs, because just 4 games.
But when they start playing each other, how do you think it ends up? So Spurs, Grizz, if this is how it stays.
Boy, I love John Morant and I love that team, but geez, it's hard to go against Pop.
It is hard to go against.
But
Pop.
I still give the edge to Lakers or Warriors over the Grizz and Spurs.
Yeah, so I think the Lakers will win, assuming obviously LeBron and AD are there. I mean, I would love to see the Warriors win.
Oh my God.
But I think my analyst hat is on. I think the Lakers win.
Yeah, I don't see the Lakers losing 2 games.
For sure.
They have to lose 2 to be out. I think they'll get in.
I think the Lakers win, so they're in as a 7th seed, and then the Warriors would play. You know what? I'm gonna stick with the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
I think they got Josh. No one really talks too much about him, but Jonas Valanciunas, the big man, is playing great.
Yeah.
So I think they have more star power. Dylan Brooks is pretty solid.
Yeah.
The Spurs have DeMar DeRozan, and they have DeJounte Murray, but they struggle with rebounding and bigs, and I think that'll.
I would love to see the Grizz get in as well. That'd be a blast.
Well,
or no, to win and play
the Warriors.
I don't think they'll make it in.
I also think. I think then that's the game where Steph goes off and gets the Warriors in.
Yeah.
Just to get maybe swept by the Jazz.
Now the play-in, that doesn't count for the regular season. That's technically the playoffs already.
Right, which is actually a conversation someone else brought up at one point because it was like, what happens with those stats? Technically, they
Where
don't
are they?
count.
A little imaginary bubble over here.
Well, that's the thing that technically they wouldn't count, and so that is something that kind of stinks. Like if Steph puts up, if he put up 100 points, it wouldn't be recorded technically.
Yeah, it would just be a play-in. Yeah.
Yeah. So very strange. So we'll move to the East. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference. So, in the East, this is a little tighter in the East. So you have the Hornets as the AC right now. The Wizards have climbed all the way to the 9th spot.
Yeah.
So good for the Wizards. They're playing great ball lately.
Westbrook and
they're 7-3 in the last 10 games.
Holy cow! Yeah, they've been on fire.
And then the Pacers are going the opposite direction. They've kind of been dropping games. And they've been, I don't know if you saw this, like one of the assistant coaches was fighting with like one of the players. So it's a struggle right now in Indy. And then, and the Celtics, I didn't start counting at 7. I started at 8. The Celtics are the 7th seed. They just lost to the Heat, and they play the Heat again.
God.
But they're 2 games behind Miami. So I also think these will be the teams we have in there. The Bulls are 11 right now, and they're 2.5 behind the Pacers. So it's tough to make up that ground with like 4 games left. So let's pretend this is how it stays. Mm-hmm. Celtics, Hornets. The thing is, it seems super easy to just say, like, the Celtics, of course.
Right.
But they just have underachieved
all year after being like, what were they, the 1 seed or 2 seed last? They were insane last year.
They were, I think, the 3 seed or something like that. Yeah.
That young talent, I don't know what happened.
There were 4 or something.
You know, Kemba didn't play a lot this year. I don't know.
It's tough with the Celtics, and I just think that they do. First of all, Brad Stevens is more old school from what I've gathered, where he wants the ball moving.
Right.
Whereas the Celtics' young stars
need the ball.
So you have Jason Tatum, who wants the ball in his hands, and he wants the ISO stuff.
Yep.
to be honest, Jaylen Brown, they're both fantastic.
Yeah.
But it might be a situation where maybe not now, like in a couple years, you realize they kind of take away from each other.
That they don't complement each other the way like other players do. Like, yeah, they're similar.
Right.
In a lot of ways. That's why you need the pieces to fit. I don't know.
So
but I didn't see them dropping this low this year.
I thought they were going to be like the 3
below
seed.
the Knicks and the Hawks, it's like, what?
So the Celtics are the 7th seed. They would play the Hornets. Like I said, I think the Celtics should and would just win this, but you just never know. And then the 9-10 game would be the Wizards Pacers.
I really feel the Wizards could get the 8th seed in the end.
I agree.
Because they're just on fire. They're playing with a mission. They're kind of clicking now.
Mm-hmm.
Like Westbrook and Beal, it's just work.
And even their role players are playing pretty good.
Yeah, and I could see them having no problem with the Pacers and then going against maybe the Hornets.
Yeah.
Maybe taking care of the Hornets because Beal's ball's back, but
that's exactly how I see it playing out. I think I'll give the Celtics that. I think they take care of business and they get the 7th seed. I think the Wizards will dominate the Pacers. Yeah. Or if somehow the Bulls happen to sneak in there. But then when it comes down to the Hornets-Wizards, I just think that the Wizards have Russ. They have Bradley Beal. These guys are veterans. The Hornets have I would say they've had a good season.
Yeah.
You bring in the kid, Ball. The Ball kid, he comes in.
Playing really well.
LaMelo's been Rookie of the Year probably. He might get it still, but he was injured for a while.
Yeah.
But you have LaMelo in there. And, he's just it's his rookie season. Yeah. So I think the veteran leadership that Beal and Westbrook bring.
Rozier's playing there, too. He's playing great. Yeah, but I'd still give the edge to the Wizards. And it's amazing how that trade is working out better for the Wizards. At first, we're not sure. But
the Thunder were all about just accumulating draft picks. And now they have 17 picks in the next 5 years. It's insane.
Yeah, well, then they better win now, the Wizards.
Yeah. So they did trade away a lot, but also I'm just saying that the Thunder have been continuously gathering draft picks, even in the Chris Paul deal, the Paul George deal. So they're just stacked with draft picks. So good. I think give them 5 years to draft some, high prospects, and they'll be
cornerstone player. But the Bulls have won 3 straight.
Yeah.
The Pacers have to keep downward spiraling, and then. But yeah, whoever sneaks in there, I think the Wizards have.
I think the Wizards will take care of it. Yeah, I agree. So that's the play-in, and then now that we have settled we kind of are in agreement.
Yeah,
I think it'll be Celtics 7 and Wizards 8 seed.
Yeah.
We'll stay with the East. Sixers, Wizards. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
I don't think it would be much of a playoff series. Maybe 5 games, maybe.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Sixers will win, but it'd be exciting. Nets and Celtics.
Nets and Celtics. So that I also think maybe 5 games. Depends on who's playing for the Nets.
That I know. Have they? How many games have the Big Three played together?
Not many. I think it's under 10.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a crazy number. Crazy low number.
Yeah.
This is the most intriguing matchup for me. The Bucks and the Heat in round 1.
Oh, last year's conference finals.
And last year the Heat took it to them and knocked the favorite Milwaukee Bucks out. And I would not be surprised if it happens again. But even if it doesn't, this is going to be, I feel like, a long, back and forth heavyweight matchup because, the Heat are they're not the rollover team. You got that Heat culture. Jimmy Butler's a dog. Most of their guys from last year are back.
Yeah.
I think they will miss having Jay Crowder, who's with Phoenix now.
Yeah.
And that guy's super underrated, I think.
That guy's bounced around so much, but he's so valuable.
I agree.
He's tough. He gets rebounds. It's why does he keep bouncing? But teams need that glue guy.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
So that's the matchup that I hope. It looks like this is the way it'll stay, but there's a chance the Bucks could overtake the Nets for that 2 seed.
Right.
And then you would have Brooklyn taking on the
Bucks won 5
straight.
Heat. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the Bucks are just have it together a little more this year.
I agree.
And I think they'll take the Heat, but I think it'll be a great series. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to bet on it because
I think they'll take the Heat too, but it's just that if they get down 3-2 or 2-1, the pressure of that disaster happening again, is crazy. And I think obviously Giannis does have more help now. They brought in PJ Tucker.
Right.
Drew Holiday is a huge signing for them, or trade that they got. So I do think the Bucks are a better team.
They just seem like, when I've watched them play this year, a little bit more on it, even though they're the 3 seed. I don't know. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, well, they've won 5 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10, so they're playing better. But playoffs, you know how playoffs is.
Yeah.
And if the Heat, they have Bam. They have those guys that know how to play. And if they shut down Giannis, it's a wrap. Yep. So this will really test Giannis.
I can't imagine it happening 2 years in a row.
Can you imagine?
Or then they'd have to I think they'll edge them out if I were to predict.
If
but
they,
it's not
if they don't, that's just a disaster.
I mean, the Heat played out of their minds. But they don't have that power that the Bucks have. But they beat them last year.
Yeah.
So.
If that happens, not even based on just the coach is out. You just know it because it has to. You have to change something, and obviously the coach is the easiest thing.
But
to
All right.
I was just gonna say the other one is Knicks Hawks, which I'd be excited for that.
I want to watch that.
I'm down with that. I think that the 3-6 and the 4-5 playoff series would be more entertaining than the 1-8 and 2-7.
Yeah, for the first round especially.
Yeah,
the Knicks. Oh my God, I'm blanking the coach.
Tom Thibodeau.
Tom Thibodeau,
coach of the year.
I really think so. He's tough, and he got them to play.
People don't like him because he's old school, but I'm a big Thibodeau
I always
guy.
loved Thibodeau when he was with the Bulls.
Yeah,
they played out of their minds.
I'm just gonna say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
The thing people criticize with Thibodeau is that he plays his players too much. He runs them to the ground.
Yeah.
But I have a very unique way of looking at this as it's their job and it's a business. Yeah. And so I think of it as if you have a 9 to 5, but you're complaining because your boss won't let you leave at 4 o'clock. Well, your schedule is 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So when these guys are coming in, you're scheduled to play a basketball game, which is 48 minutes.
Yep.
So if you get let go after 44 minutes, you should be happy that, hey, I got off 4 minutes early, let's say. So I'm just very old school with that. I know people don't like that, but that's my thinking.
Athlete, you need to, I'd want to be playing the whole time. Maybe the last couple of games of the season you're locked up, kind of like in football. Brady will go out and play a series or two, but you got to play those minutes and
The thing is, on a player's perspective, I get it because you're trying to conserve your body. So if I could, I think in any job the whole, a lot of times it's when you're thinking of it strictly as business, it's get paid more and work less. You know, that's how it usually goes. So I'm not against the players wanting that, but I'm also not against the teams expecting their players to play the whole paycheck.
What makes me mad as a fan is say I went to see a Clippers game and Kawhi's sitting out. It's I'm paying money to see you play.
Right.
I remember, I'm older, but when I was a kid, I went to see the Celtics play. I was a big Larry Bird fan, but McHale was out and Parrish was out, and they were the end of their careers. But I was I want to see them too.
Right.
I want to see the guys play. And if you're in the middle of the year because you're kind of sore, unless you take a big break to heal an injury, I feel like you should be out there grinding.
It's so it's so unique to sports because it doesn't happen, I feel like, anywhere else really. Yeah. Where someone's just I'm just gonna take. Can you imagine buying tickets to the Bruno Mars concert and you show up and Bruno's not performing?
Right. Yeah.
That doesn't happen, and Bruno's excuse is well, if I don't perform in this concert, I'll be able to come back to this venue in a year.
Well,
nobody cares about the year from now when we're buying tickets for now.
Yeah, they don't want to see a Bruno Mars impersonator. They want to see him.
Right.
Or the rest of the band. If I'm going to a game and you're out, not due to a real injury, for this load management crap, which I'm so tired of.
That's my point. The load management thing is one of those things where I'm
don't play unless you're healed up, and then play because the fans are paying the money to see you. Not last year, but we're still buying the NBA League Pass.
Right.
I want to go and see you, and if you're not there, I feel gypped. And then if you're out for these load management, give your money back then.
Correct.
For that game. Why are you giving?
It happens in our industry too. Us as performers.
Yep.
When I miss a show, I get docked that pay.
Yeah.
Because if I choose to, when I go to do a halftime show, whatever it may be, that's just, it's almost common sense.
Exactly. If I take off the show to do another show, I don't expect to get paid there.
Right.
They don't need to necessarily know what I'm doing, but if I'm not, all those games, not to get into it, but Kyrie Irving, one of the
He's had more personal days that I think a normal person could accumulate.
2 weeks at one point.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing, man? Are you
it's
like
kind of embarrassing if you ask me.
talented. Like I haven't seen nearly as many NBA games as you, but when I saw him live, he's so quick, so talented, but like something's up with his head, saging and all this. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Like I wish like those kind of things. The teams that are grinding it out, like the Knicks, might be able to take them because they're a team. And I don't know if you heard this story, like with Randall when he was on. Sorry, I'm going off here.
No, go for
when
it.
he was on the Lakers, Kobe told him like, man, you got to get your shots in. The minute he says, before you even go to the hotel, find a place to get your shots in. And I forget where they were, but he found some high school gym and they let him in. It was like 2 a.m. and the guy goes, the high school coach said, yeah, the last guy to do this was Kobe at this gym. But now all the Knicks are doing it.
Yeah.
They're working together so hard as a team. Maybe they're not as talented as the Nets, but they're working hard and they might grind them out where these teams that are like, oh, I'm going to take it easy, maybe way more talented, they might get beat.
It's a tough spot in the sports. I mean, and it happens more in the NBA, but the NFL, like I mentioned before we started this, but the Aaron Rodgers is slowly going that way, and it's worrisome in a way because it's just like having the best of both worlds, and it's hard for the organizations to hold their ground and stand their ground and fight back because then you're scared of the player leaving and some other team willing to do whatever the player wants. But it's so disrespectful. Like when you said when Kyrie did that and there was no explanation, it's like
he should at least give his money back.
No,
because we just
or not expect it. If the team wants to pay you out of kindness, all power to you for sure. If someone's like, hey, I need a week off, I'm not feeling great, and the team's like, don't worry, take your time. And I've had an injury before that was like not related injury. When I worked in Myrtle Beach, and they were like, take the week off, we'll still pay you. That's super kind of them, but don't take that kindness and make it an expectation. And like I said, with the players, if they're getting their way, sure, I don't blame you. You're gonna start expecting that and wanting it.
But also in a shortened season, they gotta like get on the same page. I mean, they're super talented, 3 mega amazing guys.
Yeah.
You know? But I mean, they got beat by Dallas without Porzingis. It's like how does that happen? They should be wiping the floor with almost anybody. But you got to get that toughness together. I mean, well, the game I'm talking about, like Kyrie had a million people, like 45 points, but whatever. It's just like taking off 2 weeks unless there's a death in the family, not for your sister's birthday party. Whatever it is, like get in there and grind, and that's what I like about the Knicks. They're like that old school grinding.
I'm on the Knicks, and I was raised.
And the Sixers with Doc, I think he's gonna push them.
And I was kind of raised to not like the Knicks because I grew up in New York, and the fans they would be like 12 and 45, and the fans would still be like, "Oh, we got a title coming." No,
I grew up at the end of the Ewing era.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me a high five once, and I was like, "Dad, I'm not washing my hands." But like where they were always in the mix, with never got there. But
I love the Knicks, and like you said, Philly. I'm on. You know why with Philly? Because they've had Simmons there for a couple of years, and Embiid there for a couple of years. Everyone's talked about they can't play together. Has anyone actually looked at the stats? Because when they're on the court together, they're great.
Yeah, and Tobias Harris, I saw him play when he was with Detroit against the Celtics, and I was like, who is this guy?
He played great there.
He's a good
with
player.
The Clippers, he was solid. And I just like that team has stuck. If there's a team I'm rooting for to come out of the East, out of the top dogs, for me, it's Philly.
Me too.
I love the Sixers. I think that their fans have stuck through it. Obviously, the Kawhi shot hurts. Then last year, you fall short again. I think the Sixers team with Doc there is going to, like you said, he's going to make them work and give them a sort of dog mentality where I don't think they're going to be able to get down on themselves as quickly, and he's going to just keep them fighting. So
they're a young team. He was able to do that with the Celtics. The Clippers were kind of, I don't know. He's the right coach for that team right now, I feel.
I agree.
And the games I watched, Embiid is playing great, like lights out. Like if he didn't miss all those games, like I was watching a lot of games when I was home in New York, and my father's like, "This guy's incredible.
He's great.
He's been living up this year." And Simmons, boy, if I were to bet right now, and I would bet the Sixers to win over the talented Nets, because the Nets are just getting everybody. It's like, I'm going to get Blake. I'm going to get
I'll say this. I know that everyone knows who he is, but to me, Ben Simmons is still super underrated.
Yes.
He does so many things for that team that people just look at the jump shot and go, he doesn't shoot threes, so he stinks. His defense.
He could be Defensive Player of the Year, honestly.
Absolutely. He could be Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Think of it that way. He's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, so his biggest strength is defense. Plus, he's great at creating.
Yeah.
And he gets his. Like it or not, he may not have a jump shot.
He's what, 6'9"?
Yeah.
He's like,
big dude.
It is kind of like a Magic in the day, because Magic didn't shoot great, but he created. He could get to the bucket, but he wasn't a shooter. Like, Magic jump shot was like this weird, ugly looking thing. No offense, Magic, you're the greatest point guard ever. But he is really good.
Yeah,
he's great. They forget about him. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go through the West real quick. We spent a long time here on the East. We'll look at the West playoffs as if they were to start now, which they're coming up. And then I just want to ask you about the Mavs real quick, and we'll wrap.
Okay.
So like we said, we have the 7th seed being the Lakers, the 8th seed being the Warriors.
Yeah.
Jazz Warriors. I think the Jazz will take it in 5.
Yeah.
I don't see that being as competitive.
Steph can go off, but for a 7-game series.
It might be one of the series when they go, okay, Steph, go. We're just going to stop everybody else.
Is Mitchell back, or what's up with him?
I think he'll be back by the playoffs,
okay.
Suns, Lakers, this is super intriguing. I have no clue where to go with this. Because you have to, even though this has been such an overachieving season for the Suns, if they lose in the first round of the playoffs, it almost feels like an underachievement.
It will, but against the Lakers,
This just feels like it should have been like a Western Conference series, right?
Yeah. But I'll say this, if AD's back without LeBron or LeBron's back without AD, they could get beat. They need them both.
Yeah, I agree. But if they have both, I think the Lakers could do it in 6. But
I was going to say 6.
Yeah.
That stinks for the Suns, though, because this really should be at least a 2nd or 3rd round matchup.
I agree.
Yeah.
It should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clippers, Portland, I'm intrigued. I think
the
Clippers have a lot of pressure, man.
They do. They're kind of quietly having a good season. I feel like they're playing almost better than last year in a way.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No,
they got oh my god.
Rondo or who?
Rondo, yeah, they got Rondo
now.
The 6th man from last year.
Well, they traded Lou.
What's his name from the Lakers? My brain.
Harrell? Harrell went from the Clippers to the Lakers.
Okay, forget that.
Yeah.
No. Edit that.
They lost. No, they lost Harrell, but they picked up Ibaka.
Yes.
Serge Ibaka.
Yeah,
so that's maybe what you're getting confused.
Yeah.
I do think the Clippers have.
Yeah.
They're a better team this year because they've had more time to play together. And I would obviously expect them to take care of the Blazers. But, Dame is Dame, man.
Dame is great.
CJ.
And CJ's great. I just don't feel like they have quite the depth, which has always been, like, they need a few more big men. Like, I love the Trailblazers, too. And Dame is great, but I just don't see them. I see them making a series, maybe even getting to 7. But I mean, see that 7. Too. If it got to 7, then all bets are off. But
then I think it's just one of those games. If it gets to 7, where Kawhi's gonna just slow it down, and it's gonna be him and Rondo, and not Paul George.
Right.
If it gets to 7, I think it's gonna be just the Kawhi game with Rondo controlling the pace at a pace that's slowed down because the Blazers are gonna want to be up tempo.
Yeah.
They got CJ. They traded for Norman Powell now, so they have those quick guys, but. I mean, that'll be a fun series. It's the same like the East. I don't think the Suns Lakers though might be the series there to watch.
Yeah.
But then, perfect segue because we go to the 4 seed Nuggets, who still have a chance to catch the Clippers. They're only a game behind them for the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
So things may change here, but if it is the Mavs against the Nuggets, I'm sorry, but I just think you mentioned earlier something about the Nets playing Mavs without Porzingis.
Yeah. Sometimes
I feel like the Mavs without Porzingis are better.
Lately, they've kind of weirdly been. Tim Hardaway Jr. has been playing. I just feel like they need him for defense, but I don't know. Like, he's the glass unicorn. He's always getting hurt.
And he's missing that, like, dog in him. Like, how you're, like, 7 feet. You have to be 7'3". You have to be 7'3". You have to be pulling in like 8 rebounds a game minimum.
Yeah. If you're that big, like in the playoffs, you gotta have like 3 blocks, 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
If I was Carla, I would have been like, listen, you need to be an all-star now. I want that, even if you don't make it, that effort.
Yeah.
It feels like he is a little timid. Where Luka goes against anybody and gets, whatever. But
the scary thing with the Mavs, because unfortunately, I think if this were the matchup, I think the Nuggets just play better basketball.
They do.
The Mavs are very Luka dependent.
Very Luka
and then
dependent.
when Porzingis, that's why I think they're better without Porzingis. Because when Porzingis is not there, at least they stick to that identity.
That's true.
But when Porzingis is there, it's hard for Luka to be Luka dependent because he feels like, dang, I have this other star in
Right.
Porzingis that I have to get involved.
Right.
So it switches up.
And I feel like just the Mavs, they need, if even Porzingis isn't in, and Hardaway's playing like a good 3. They need a 2. Like he's playing as a 2, but they need like one more guy. Like there's a bunch of role players that
like Dorian Finney-Smith isn't bad. Jalen Brunson has been playing pretty solid.
Right.
You're right. They're like if they had one more
guy like in the Nuggets, Porter is playing. He always had the talent. He's stepped up since Murray's been out.
Yeah.
Porter, is that right? Porter Jr.
Michael Porter
He's
Jr.
just like he was that guy who had all the talent but had back issues and But he is. The Nuggets really could. I'm a Mavs fan. I think the Nuggets would take it. Yeah,
I think so. It just comes down to this: who is gonna stop the Joker? That's it. Because that's what I'm talking about. Porzingis, he's not gonna do it.
He's like a slow freight train. You're not stopping.
Porzingis is gonna. Joker's just gonna. Yeah. I feel like control Porzingis and.
Oh yeah, he will.
And that's where the issues start. And so I don't think this would be as close as we might want it to be.
Yeah, and
I'm a huge Luka guy.
Yeah, I thought he'd be in the MVP talks, but just because the team is under, what are they? They were like the 4 seed last year. They're the 5. They're about the same. They just need, I think, one more piece.
They got off to a bad start, but since the trade deadline, I think they've been playing really good ball.
Have, yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, look, they're 8-2 in the last 10.
Yeah, no, the Mavs are playing good. Yeah. But it's just that come playoff time when it's, you get time to prepare on that one team and that one player. And that's the thing. That it's just prepare. It's going to be stop Luka. You stop Luka, you stop the whole thing.
I think Luka could still get his shots, but who else got to step up? Like Tim Hardaway Jr.'s got to have a great game. Like these other role players got to step up, which they could.
Kleber and all those guys too. At least, he's a good shooter. So, well. This seems like a good time to wrap. We've done a good half hour here talking hoops. I'm excited. I can't wait to see how things finish out. There was a little the last month. I'd say I was kind of not really feeling it. Everyone was just going through the motions. I've never seen as many blowouts ever. Teams were up by 20 at halftime, and the game pretty much just seemed over now. So I think now that competitiveness is going to start to kick in. Once you get rid of those bottom teams that people can beat up on, I think.
Well, and the Nets, they came back from a huge deficit the other day.
And the Celtics did, too, in one of those games. They were down like 27.
Steve Nash just seems always upset on the sideline. So we'll see,
Well, rookie coach, but he's got a great team to obviously be working with. So we will see. Bill, thank you for hopping on.
It was a blast.
Yeah, we'll have to do this more often. Maybe once the playoffs start around, or we'll do a little recap of the play-in tournament and see.
Oh, see who's right. We're kind of on the same page.
Yeah, so. we'll recap our predictions. Yeah. Maybe Steph does drop something crazy, so we'll see. Yeah, because we can go through. Scoring title we'll know by then. Yeah. So maybe we'll do a little recap one. If you're down.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right. Well, for Bill Leary, Bill, where can people find you if they want to find you online?
Basically just Bill Leary Sachs at Instagram. That's my main outlet right now. And hopefully I will have some more content up soon. I got something in the works.
All right.
So, yeah. Anyway.
The best saxophone player that I know right here, Bill Leary.
Thank you. Best saxophone playing golfer now.
He's a golfer.
I'm going to start a golf channel. Watch out. Music, golf, entertainers. Anyways.
All right, we'll get at Bill. Remember, guys, please subscribe if you can and share this video. And we'll try to keep the channel growing. So thanks again. And I'll be back with another episode later this week. Thanks for watching Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Woo!